When the world was struck by COVID-19, I knew immediately that the world's leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, and sales professionals were going to need mentoring for how to ignite your business in this new business landscape. So I assembled the world's living legends of business and personal development to guide us through these times. It was a 2-day live stream summit, and we created history. You're about to see the once-in-a-lifetime experience, the first 45 minutes of the Legends Summit.
Yes.
There you are.
I'm loving the haircut, Les. I am loving the haircut.
Yes, Kid and Play from House Party.
That's right. I didn't see that coming, Les. Been a long time, brother. Been a long time.
Yeah, you say you didn't see that coming, huh? I got to
not.
get it together. All right, come on now. Well, when you get 75, you got to spruce it up a little bit.
I hear you. I hear you.
It's so good. It's been a long time, Mark.
Very good, very long time. I hear you and Craig Valentine are gonna get together and do some collaboration, man.
Who's that?
Craig Valentine.
Yes, I've been waiting to hear from Craig. He's a bad dude. Let the record show.
Now, listen, we appreciate you helping us younger guys find our legs and always encouraging us. So thank you, man.
Oh man, I've got some great ideas, and I'm not going to push them back any longer because life is so fragile and so uncertain. First of all, at 75, I'm glad to still be here.
And listen, man, you are, again, we appreciate you so much. I love the way you keep that hair nice and high and dark.
Yes, indeed. I tell you, and I tell to people, my friends who have clean heads, I say, grass don't grow on a busy street.
I get you. I hear you.
Yay.
Ouch. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you.
The other Mark?
Yes,
Mark.
It's been a long time.
It has, my friend. Good to see you. Glad you're well.
You. Yes, it's good to be well. Yes.
And the odds of being well aren't as good as they were before March, were they?
Indeed.
Oh man, it's changed. You have to have a strategy for being here. But you're looking great. You're looking like fresh money. What good things you been up to?
Well, my oldest son is second lieutenant Marine in officer school right now. And my youngest son is a realtor and a rapper. And I got to tell you, one of these is not like the other.
Yes, and he and my youngest son got to get together. That is great. They have their own path. Let the record show. It's different, boy. They come from God. They come through us, but they have their own path they carve out for themselves. All of us are doing stuff virtually. Travel is over for me. I'm doing everything from home. I'm not coming out the house till 2027. I've been in the house so long, I have a squirrel that I talk to every day. I named him Tyrone. I'm now bilingual. Tyrone has taught me how to speak squirrely. And so I talk to Tyrone every day. Tyrone, I'm talking about you. Yes, please do not.
Oh my gosh, I think Tyrone's on the screen.
Tyrone is on the screen. Look, Les, here he is.
Where? Oh,
John.
Jim, how are you? Okay, that's where'd you get that from, Jim?
I got that at the NSA meeting in Denver last year.
Oh my goodness, man. Listen, you got to send me one of those for my birthday, please, Jim. How are you?
Wonderful, thank you. We moved to Austin, Texas. That's what you're seeing in the background, Lake Travis.
Man, would you think we came on the shuttle bus together?
Orlando, Florida, 1985.
Wow.
You said, I'm Les Brown. You're Jim Cathcart, aren't you? And I said, I try to be. And you said, I'm Les Brown and I'm going to be a famous motivational speaker. Well, you overdid it.
Well, I'm still working on it, man. It's so good to see you.
Good to see
Mark,
you too.
oh my goodness. Yes, indeed. I tell you, man, it's amazing how the years go so quickly. Brian Tracy.
Hello, my friends. There we are. Oh my.
There you are. Hi, Brian. Welcome.
Dr. Willie Jolley is here too. All right. My
Oh,
brother.
hi, Willie. Welcome.
The setup back is a setup for a comeback.
That's right. A setback is a setup for a comeback.
That's great. Hello, Jim.
Hey, Brian, how are you? It looks like you need more information in that office.
I need to organize it. You know, it's amazing. I write seminars and then give them, and then I have the written seminars, and I have now boxes and boxes and shelves full of seminars and workbooks and seminars and workbooks, and they represent weeks, months, years of hard work. And I'm reluctant to throw them away, but I'll probably never use them again. So, here we
It's
are.
interesting. I look at resources like that, and I look at us, and I think that whole room full of information has channeled itself through Brian Tracy to millions of people around the world. That's a pretty cool thought.
And I'm one of those millions of people. Yes, indeed. My kids asked me a question. I said, didn't I give you Brian Tracy? Nobody in the industry, in the history of the industry, has acquired and provided more information for people to expand and be able to create the next greatest version of themselves than Brian Tracy. Nobody.
Yeah, Les, he's probably writing 2 books while we're doing this Zoom call right now.
Yes. How you doing, Ford?
I'm doing pretty good, buddy.
Great. You guys, I love your white hair. I got to introduce y'all to Clairol and mascara.
Well, you
Hey,
know,
gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen, Willie J saying hello to everybody. Brian, so good to see you. And
good to see you, Willie.
Ford and Leslie, when we talked yesterday, Mark Sanborn and Jimbo, how you doing in Texas, buddy?
Doing great. Love it
Patricia,
here.
I love you. And Tim, thank you for putting all my friends on with me. And Mark Brown, you're just a gentleman and a scholar. You know that. Bill Stainton, you know I love you, man, for all you've done.
Hey man, how you doing?
So I'm looking forward to being on with Ford Saeks today. And I haven't met Denis before. Denis, good to meet you. And
really good to meet you. Look forward to being with you on a podcast in the future.
I'm looking forward to having you on my XM show. And just good to be. Tim, Shurr, you are just a genius, how you pulled all of these brilliant people together. I'm just honored to be in the midst of greatness. So God bless you. Bob.
Denis Waitley, man, it's been so long, Denis. People form habits and habits create futures. The psychology of winning.
Amen.
That was my Bible and still is. It's worn out. I need another copy.
Everybody, just so you know, I'm letting everybody in now because I'm getting texts and emails. We want in, so everybody's coming in.
All right.
All right.
And Denis, I got to get the seeds of greatness too.
Well, you already have the seeds of greatness planted in you, and I see it growing in your hair.
Thank you. Well, gentlemen, y'all can tell at 75, I don't believe in gray hair, so I use mascara. This is my secret to cover it up. I need a paintbrush, but I do this on stage and people say, I got to start doing that. There's no shame in my game. I don't believe in gray hair. Me and Ronald Reagan, we had no gray hair.
All right, everybody. I didn't want to jump in because it's so much fun. It's just watching you guys go back and forth, and guys and gals. So thank you so much for being here today. Welcome everybody to the Legend Summit 2020. This is very, very exciting. Everyone is so excited that you are with us today, and we are excited to learn from you. We have been following you, myself and everybody that is on with us today. We've been following you for many, many years, and it's such an inspiration that you are with us now. It's very exciting to have you participating with us. So we're going to go ahead and get started with a legendary speed round question. And then I'll ask everybody one at a time to give us an answer. So the question is this: what's one approach that you are using to grow your business right now? Bob Proctor, you want to go ahead and kick us off with that, with what you're doing? One legendary tool or strategy you're using to grow your business?
Sure. Well, thanks, Tim.
I built a studio that is like a small TV station where we broadcast all over the world. And we're still doing seminars, same as if we were doing them in a hotel. It's just that we're doing them virtually now. But business has just kept growing. I think the business is an expression of our own level of consciousness. If we keep studying, keep growing, our business is going to grow. And I think if we stop studying, the business starts to go down. I have never stopped. I study every morning for an hour or two. And I found that as long as I do that, my business keeps going up.
Very good. Very good. I think all of us will agree. I believe that all of us are students of success and students of happiness. And if there's something that, if there is a goal that we want to attain, then we're always going to be empowering and educating ourselves. So that's excellent. Thank you very much, Bob. Les Brown, would you like to jump in on that? What's one thing that you're doing to grow your business?
Well, first of all, let me qualify my response. I'm not a legend. I'm on with some legends, but I'm not a legend. I'm a legend only in my own mind. So let me get that straight, because when you look at Bob Proctor and Denis Waitley and Brian Tracy and all these dudes, I'm not on that level yet. But let me share with you what I'm doing as an amateur in this business, okay? At 75. What I'm doing is teaching people how to create an experience in their virtual seminars and workshops with the computer in the safety and comfort of their homes, because the computer will not sneeze on you. and so as we know, attention is the new currency. How to attract it, how to create an experience, to hold the attention, and how to ignite the attention. And so people need to know, how is it that I could use my story, use my knowledge and experiences virtually and transform people individually and collectively? And the response has just been terrific. It's been really a phenomenal experience, and I get to do it from the comfort of my home. I have a squirrel named Tyrone, and Jim Cathcart, he has his Tyrone's cousin with him, and I've got to get that from him. But it's been a great experience doing this at home, and I love it. I don't look forward to getting on a plane ever again.
I understand that. Well, collectively, all of you have put millions and millions and millions of miles in traveling around the world to share your gifts, to share your insights, to share your heart with the world and make it a better place than it was before you got here. So wonderful answer, Les. Brian Tracy, what's one thing that you're doing to grow your business now?
Well, I sort of decided to retire this year, and I traveled to Poland and Russia in December, and I came home, and then the coronavirus hit. And as soon as it hit, I got a phone call, and the phone call was from a client, and they asked, could I do a seminar, Zoom seminar on crisis management and how do we manage during a crisis? Well, as it happens, I've given seminars to managers and leaders over the years on crisis management, problem-solving, decision-making, crises, and I wrote a book on it. I'm actually one of the foremost authors in the world who has written a book on crisis management. 21 things to do. And so I said, sure. And I gave them a 1-hour seminar and charged them for it. And then the phone rang again. And then the phone rang again. And the phone kept ringing. And pretty soon I was getting seminars on sales and management and leadership and crisis management. And so one of the things that I've done, I've been busier in the last year than perhaps in the previous year. And if I have a seminar, I just walk into my office and here I am. And so what I learned is that if you always make it easy for your customer to buy. And what that means is that you need a description. So what I do is I write out a description of what I will cover in my 1-hour seminars. And they're almost all 1 hour, 60 minutes. And that makes it easy for a client to hire you. They can't hire you just because something out of the air. So what has helped me is make it easy for your clients to hire you and then deliver what you promised. And your whole focus is, how can I help people to be more effective, to earn more money, to earn more profits? Keep it focused on how you can improve people's lives. I remember when Denis wrote his program, The Psychology of Winning, and my wife and I have told Denis this. My wife and I, just after we got married, were on a honeymoon trip through the Rockies, and there was no radios there. So, but I did have the audio cassettes. So Barbara and I listened to The Psychology of Winning as we drove through the Rockies, and it had a profound effect on my life. And so I've told Denis this, and I want to tell him again, thank you so much for that program, because it really sort of almost launched much of our industry. But my piece of advice is make it easy for your clients to retain you as Zoom speakers by writing outlines of what you will teach so that they can say yes or no.
Excellent. Excellent. Very good. Thank you, Brian. Dr. Willie Jolley, my friend, what is one thing that you are doing to grow your business right now?
Well, I've got multiple business units. So I've got speaking, then I've got books, then I've got Sirius XM, then I've got daily radio. My Sirius XM is weekly, 3 times a week, which then that Sirius is repurposed to iHeartRadio and a podcast, C-Suite Radio, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify. So we are also building the media side. And then I've got daily radio, Radio One, which is the largest African-American network. I'm syndicated with that. And then we've got online. I believe Les Brown and I, for many of you know, Les Brown has been my big brother in this business. And he says he's not a legend. What he is he is the most gracious friend I've ever had as a speaker, because he has taught me, mentored me, encouraged me, inspired me, and loved me when I needed help and encouragement. So he's beyond legendary. He's iconic. So, unless I'm not going to let you get away with that, because I say to everybody around the globe, wherever I speak, you're the greatest pound for pound motivational speaker that is on the face of the earth. And you'll be humble, but you are. But what we're doing, Les taught me years ago about the power of media. He encouraged me to get in media years ago, and he helped me to get in media. And so I have taken it and run with it. So we're building a media, Jolley Media. My son's an entertainment attorney, Les is godson, and he's helping me build this media business that is doing very well. We just got a big sponsor for my XM show for the whole year of next year, and that we're grateful for that. And so we're building all these other touch points where we can impact people many ways, and then still speaking. But speaking, as Brian has said and as Les has said, is that we're speaking in this Zoom marketplace, and we're creating new ways to give people content. And I love what you just said, Brian. By the way, Brian, you have been a friend for me when I was a brand new speaker. Brian was doing a seminar at the Greenbelt in Greenbelt, Maryland, at a convention at the Marriott, I think it was somewhere. I remember going, and I was in my first couple years of speaking. And Brian, I had met him at NSA, and he invited me on stage to speak for 5 minutes. He did not have to do that. He did not have to take time out. And he invited me to speak for 5 minutes. I spoke for 5 minutes. And after that event, I had a number of people come up and book me. And I will always be grateful for Brian, for your graciousness. You're just gracious. And we've seen each other over the years, and I've always been grateful. So we're doing what we're telling our clients to do. I'm doing what I'm trying to do, pivoting. It's time to pivot and be positive and turn a setback into a comeback, because it's comeback time. A setback is nothing but a setup for a comeback. And folks, it's comeback time. Comeback.
Woo! That's outstanding. I love it. Oh, so good. So good. And I want to back up what you're saying, Willie, because we wouldn't be having this summit actually if it wasn't for Mr. Les Brown, because I called him up and I said, Les, I have this idea for a summit. What do you think? And he said, ooh, that sounds powerful. And that was all I needed to hear. And then once we got everybody on board, then Mr. Brian Tracy, I said, here it is, Brian. And he said, well, someone had to do it. I guess it was you. And I couldn't stop smiling for 3 days. I was like stuck. So yeah, everybody on here is just an incredible soul. So thank you, Willie. Okay, now the queen of the industry.
One last thing, I gotta say a shout out to Fripp, because the woman here, I gotta say to Fripp, nobody could, and Jim Cathcart, all of you guys know your friend Mark Brown and Bill and Ford and Mark Sanborn, my dear friend. But Fripp, as a female here who is so iconic, she is just legendary, and another one of those mentors in my life who has not only helped me to become a better communicator, but taught me how to stand and deliver. Come on, Fripp.
That was a perfect segue. That's exactly right, because I was about to introduce the queen of the industry. So Patricia Fripp, what are you doing? What's one thing you're doing to grow your business now?
I would like to rephrase that question into what is the one action that I am taking that our listeners and followers could also do? And one action that I am doing this year is part of my yearly and sometimes quarterly discipline. We always need to get in the habit of revisiting what has worked for us in the past, refocus on where we are at this point in our lives and businesses, and rescript how we describe it. For example, Ford Saeks is great at helping companies, of course, market and build their business. His company also builds my website. So in the past, there were decades when I delivered 120 keynotes a year. Now, most of my focus is helping other people improve their presentations. So we change the focus and how we present ourselves to the world. And of course, we are all honored to be considered legends. But one of the best pieces of advice Michael Hauge gave me in the last couple of weeks is tell a story in a couple of sentences about how you help someone. This is great advice that everybody can use. For example, I'm executive speech coach Patricia Fripp. I helped Bernard, president of a $2 billion software company, go from a brilliant yet mild and modest engineer into a corporate rock star in 10 hours.
Wow, that was excellent. Every single time that I listened to you, Patricia, I learned something. So that was brilliant. Thank you very much. Wonderful. All right, now Jim Cathcart, the man with the guitar. Jim, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What is one action you're taking that our viewers could also take to grow their businesses?
This. Start up again. In other words, think like a startup. For ages, for 40 plus years, was a keynote speaker. And that was the thing. If anyone knew me, they knew me as a speaker. And I, like Fripp, was doing 120 talks a year for decades. And finally, I decided that wasn't nearly as much fun as it needed to be anymore. So I cut it back to about 50 or 60. And that was good for a while. But then, I've been touring China the last few years and just having an amazing time over there, going through all kinds of experiences and being treated like a rock star. But Paula and I decided when COVID hit, we were going to change everything, rethink our lives, move to Austin, Texas, And we live now here near Lake Travis, and there's Lake Travis. And there's the Oasis. That's about 7 minutes from my door. But Austin's the live music capital of the world. So I'm right at home here in many, many ways. But I'm also, instead of doing keynote speeches on stage, I'm doing startupagain.me 8-week small group mentor programs and helping people develop what we call their grand reopening strategy for revitalizing their career, thinking like a startup all over again, and realizing some opportunities they hadn't considered yet.
Outstanding. Very good. And you, it's so impressive what you're doing with your Zoom visuals as well. You're bringing it to life. One of the things that,
yeah, one of the using virtual background, click, 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 click.
Yeah. Yeah. The future trend. And I had the pleasure of talking with Dr. Denis Waitley about this, which we're going to be talking to next. You know, the video is the future, right? Video storybooks, video presentations where we're adding B-roll. It's almost like you're doing a television interview and you're given a bullet point while they're showing B-roll. That's what's going to happen with our video presentations as well. So you're already halfway there. Thank you, Jim. All right. Now, Dr. Denis Waitley. Denis. So, yes, so happy to have you here, as everybody is. So what is one action that you are taking that our viewers could also take to grow their business now?
Well, it's multiple. I always follow the trend instead of whatever is in fashion, I don't follow, but whatever a trend is, I do. As I listen to each speaker, I process in my mind what I can glean from that. So I ask questions of other people every day. What I've found is if I chase my passion and not my pension, if I do something that I really love every day and I get up wanting to do that, then the money comes to me because I'm doing something that I love that helps other people. So the one thing I would say is understand that Zoom's net worth is more than all of the airline.
Oh, and I just know all kinds of wisdom is pouring out of you.
There it is.
There we are. Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, let me make sure that I give the advice would be start living in prime time and stop watching in prime time. Stop watching other people making money, having fun in their professions, because the only free time you have, because you're working and helping other people every other minute of your life, take that wonderful time between 6 and 11 p.m. every night and work on you. Read more, network more, be with your family more, but use prime time to live instead of to watch. And I would start doing that tomorrow. And I would also understand that Zoom has more net worth than all the airlines. So we live in a virtual world. So don't just use Facebook, start using LinkedIn and use all of the media opportunities that you have in whatever business that you're in. And just make sure that you bring your A game every day. When things are going well, you coast. But when things are not going well, you bring your A game every day. And that's why when things are frightening, you need to start doing and stop stewing. Be proactive instead of reactive.
I don't have enough paper to write down all the little phrases that everybody's sharing here. Thank God we're recording this. So excellent, Denis. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Mark Sanborn.
Tim, thank you. And congratulations to all of you who are signed up for the Legends Summit, because as we all know, in times of rapid change, accelerated learning is your most important skill, your most important tool. So I'm glad that you're all here, and the people that you've heard have all built into my life. And I hope in some small way I've built into theirs. I used to say, I'm not like Willie Nelson. My heroes haven't always been cowboys. My heroes have always been speakers. So it's great to be with you and share this idea. There are two questions that you need to ask yourself. Most people only ask the first question. The first question is, what's important now? In other words, with COVID-19 and all the attendant changes, what has changed and what's become important now that wasn't important before? But the second question just as critical, and that is what always matters. In other words, what never changes. And things like relationship and value and persuasion and leadership, those things always are important to the success of any business. So one of the things that hasn't changed because of COVID, but it's become leveraged because of it, is there's only 3 ways that you can create value for your clients. The first is you can reduce the pain that they're facing. The second is you can help them increase the joy they experience, or ideally both. You either can reduce the pain, increase the joy, or both. Those are the only 3 ways ultimately we can create value. And as soon as COVID hit and we all started working on upping our digital presentation game, it dawned on me that I didn't want to produce, I wanted to present. That I was never going to be the best production specialist. I wanted to be the best presenter. So I partnered with my videographer of 30 years, and we started a little company called Livestream Denver. And Livestream Denver is a studio where we can give any speaker who has a presentation world-class production abilities at an affordable rate. Not only is that important to speakers that want to differentiate themselves, but it's important to meeting planners that want to make sure they have a really quality event. So I would say if you want to grow your business, ask yourself, how can I reduce the pain my clients are facing, increase their joy, or on a good day, how can I do both? And that's my suggestion for everyone who's tuned in today.
Oh, very good. Very good. That's excellent. And I agree with you that my heroes are not cowboys unless those cowboys happen to be motivational speakers. So yeah, that's right, Jim. I'm thinking of you. All right. Very good. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Mark Brown, same question for you.
Oh, thanks so much, Tim. I find myself in awe with all of these legends here. And a couple of things that come to mind. Well, a year ago, a partner of mine, fellow CSP and world champion Darren LaCroix, began doing a podcast called Unforgettable Presentations. The goal is to certainly help anyone who wants to master their skill at presenting. But in the process, we're also building better relationships and thereby extending our reach for our business. The one principle I want to really share is this. It may sound a little bit odd, but I want everyone to think seriously about collaboration. We are individuals, we have our own businesses, and we have our niche. But I found great power in collaboration. Years ago, I went to an event, a Toastmasters event, and I found myself with Darren LaCroix, CSP world champion, Ed Tate, CSP world champion. We're on the floor, on our knees, kissing the hands of one Patricia Fripp. And she has a photographic record of this as proof. But she became a mentor to us. We began to collaborate with her. We built Lady and the Champs and have since moved on to other things. I had one of my first engagements. I shared a platform with Dr. Willie Jolley. Through him, I met Les Brown. And the continual process of collaboration has helped me to grow. And I would suggest to everyone watching today, while you are concerned about building your business, are there ways you can collaborate with others to mutually grow and therefore reach so many more people, much as we are all doing right now at this Legends Summit?
Very good. Very good. Yeah, that's excellent. That's excellent. Thank you, Mark. So good. So good. All right. Okay. Now we have Mr. Hollywood, Mr. Michael Hauge. All the way from LA. So Michael, what advice do you have for everybody that's tuned in today?
Well, first of all, I'd also like to thank Patricia Fripp. You noticed how she gave me a plug when she was introducing herself, and she's been doing that for me for the 15 years since we first met and became friends. And if it wasn't for Patricia, I wouldn't be here, because Patricia is the one who referred me to Tim. She's been referring me to more mentors, contacts, clients, and opportunities than anyone ever has in my career. And it's because of Patricia that I know Mark Brown, that I know Ford, that I have worked with Denis and Bill Stainton, and Bill probably doesn't even know it came through Patricia originally. So thank you so much for that. I just really appreciate it. Now, the first question you asked was, what have I done to grow my business? And the main thing I've done, and I feel like I'm only about 20 years behind everybody else here, but I'm finally doing the online course that I wanted to create where I can do what I do with clients and so on, and that is work with business leaders, entrepreneurs, speakers, marketers, and show them how telling better stories is going to help them grow their business. So that's been my effort. But I learned something during the pandemic that had much more impact on me. I have for years been sending out emails to my list with articles and suggestions and methods for creating storytelling and great stories. But I did something I'd never done before. Over the COVID period, I sent 3 very personal emails to my entire list to talk about some things that I was going through on beyond the pandemic. And the response to that was amazing. And I realized as a result, a couple of things. One, I should practice what I preach, and I need to share more stories about myself and my own clients' success stories. But more than that, the value in becoming transparent and vulnerable. And if I was to give a suggestion to everyone, of course it would be tell stories. Stories are the fastest, most powerful way you can connect with anyone that you want to help or transform or connect or get to buy something from you. But more than that, when you tell your stories, don't just say, this is all what I've accomplished and this is how I do it. And this is what you can do. And I hope you can get to the level I'm at. If you are willing to be vulnerable and go deeper into the fear you have felt or are still feeling and include that in your storytelling, that's how you're going to have the greatest impact and create the deepest connection with your followers.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Michael. That was wonderful. Thank you. All right, very good. Mr. Bill Stainton, live. So, Bill.
I was told this would be pre-recorded. Oh, man, now there's pressure. Now there's pressure. I've never done live TV before. Well, I'm also here because of Patricia Fripp. She recommended me to you, Tim. I feel kind of like that kid in Willy Wonka who won, who found the golden ticket. And, what am I doing here? Because I have learned from everybody here. I mean, every one of these legends I've learned something from. And I think that's the key. And that's why everybody else has signed up for this, because you learn from the people who've got the experience, and there's always something to learn. There's always something to learn if we look at it. I think so many people go into any kind of event, any kind of online session, or in-person session back when those come back again. And look, I've been guilty of it also. You go out of a session and you think, well, that just really wasn't for me. There was nothing for me there. That's on me. That's on me. There's always something in every session. If you go into it saying, what am I going to get from this? Not will I get anything from this? Because then your brain can just say, nope. But if you say, what's in this for me? How can I apply this? Your brain will search for an answer. It'll always find one. So every single one of the sessions happening over the next 2 days, I promise you there's something in it if you open up your eyes and your ears and your brain and look for it. And you asked about what's one specific thing that people can do. And I think this is kind of foundational. And I probably got this from probably Brian Tracy or Earl Nightingale, because everything comes from them, Denis Waitley. That really is kind of like the Holy Trinity. Everything comes from them. But is something that most people don't do. Dennis, you talked about the fact that we need to be proactive rather than reactive. And what I find is, especially in times of crisis, people react. They go into reactive mode. They look and see what everybody else is doing. They say, okay, I've got to do that. Or else they do what they've always been doing, but they just do it faster. So they're this hamster on the wheel, and it's maybe if I go faster, things will start to work. And faster isn't going to work. What's going to work is different. You need to innovate because the game has changed. So here's the tip. Schedule time to think. Put it on your calendar. Maybe it's only a half hour, first thing in the morning. Maybe it's an hour, something like that. It doesn't have to be long. But now, and here's how you do it, because most people don't really know how to think. Stewing is not thinking. Meditation is valuable, but not necessarily thinking. What I like to do is conscious thinking, where you sit down with a pad of paper, not in front of a computer, an actual pad of paper. Because there's something that Brian, I'm sure you know about this, but you sit down with a pad of paper and And every day, exactly, there you go, seen here by Brian Tracy and Ford Saeks. A pad of paper. But what you do is every day, focus your thinking on one question. And the question can vary from day to day. For example, here's one question that you can just start with tomorrow. Just think about where we are now and think, what will my clients need the most 1 year from now? Normally I say 5 years from now, but things change so fast. Let's just make it 1 year, because 5 years from now, who knows what's going to happen. What are my clients going to need most 1 year from now? And how can I start doing that 3 months from now? Now, maybe you'll come up with something, maybe you won't, but what's going to happen is your brain's going to get to work, and you start this habit. You make it a habit. Brian talks about habits a lot. You make this a habit of just sitting and thinking, and all of a sudden your brain will start to realize, oh, we're doing this now. Oh, we're going to be thinkers, because you've got the capability. We just don't do it. So just sit down, put it on your calendar, schedule 15 minutes, a half hour, an hour a day with a pad of paper to do some focused thinking, come up with a good question that'll open up your brain, and just start coming up with answers. Whether they're good or bad, that doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is the activity. The point is getting your brain to think.
It's very good. Excellent. Very, very good advice, Bill. I believe that everybody here, one of the reasons why we're here is because we trust in the power of our mind. When you ask the right questions, your mind will help you find the right answers. And if your mind can't figure it out, God will. And so you got to sit down and be open. And just like you said, Bill, so outstanding advice. Thank you so much. All right. Now I saved one of my favorites for last, Mr. Ford Saeks, because I've known Ford the longest. He's been a coach, a mentor, and a really good friend to me over the years. And so, Ford, I'm really glad that you're here today. So what advice would you have for everybody that's watching?
Well, first of all, like everybody else, I just have to say, I'm so honored to be here with these legends. I mean, Denis Waitley, Les Brown, and Brian Tracy, you were the three that I started with back in the 80s when I first had my first business. I would go into my weekly conference room and we would do Monday motivation with Les Brown. And then Tuesday we would do habits. And then Wednesday we would do mindset. And then I found out about the People's Network. And then Patricia came in and then Willie and Jim. And so just to be on this platform is great. So moving right into the content for all of you attendees, a couple things I want you to make sure you do is remember, there's no such thing as a money problem. There isn't. You want to earn more money, add more value. Now, you've already heard multiple people on this session today talk about asking better questions. That's the tip. If you're asking the wrong question, the answer doesn't even matter. Focus on what you can control, which is your attitude and your actions. And, really when it comes down to everything you're going to hear between now and Sunday, is it's not what you know, it's how well you execute. So you're here today to rethink, reboot, reframe, refocus, and you're going to hear some of the things that maybe you've heard. But, it's not what you know, it's how well you execute. I mean, last night I had a choice between pizza and a salad. I'll let you guys figure out what I did. I had a little bit of both. But, you just got to know if you make that decision, you're going to get the results. So I'd love to share more with it. I think we've had a lot of people sharing some really great content. Les, I worked with you for multiple years and, like a brother and I'd say father, brother, cousin, uncle, family, whatever. You made one that saved my life, really. I mean, a course in my life changed it, and all of you have. So I know whether the people that are here as attendees, I want to thank all of you for being here, regardless of where you are in your business. Whether you're new or whether you came for personal growth or whether you came for leadership or sales or marketing, this panel is second to none. In fact, there hasn't been a panel put together like this in many, many years. Back in the old Peter Lowe days, and other people had events like that. So I'm encouraging you all to tune in, be open-minded, play full out. And this is something I learned from Les Brown, sitting in him at the conference one time. And I looked at the speaker up there and I'm like, Les, I could do better than that. And he turned to me and he said, Ford, that person represents the thoughts and the feelings that you have failed to act upon. So don't compare yourself to anybody else. Don't worry about how much money they're doing or what they've done or how many downloads they have or how many followers on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest. What you want to do is think about what you can control, which is your attitude and your actions. Back to you, Tim.
Wow. I got chills on that one. Oh, that was powerful stuff. So Absolutely extraordinary. This is exactly how I thought it was going to go down, and it's even better. The advice that that all of you have shared is top notch, and what you said, Ford, about, I mean, there isn't another summit that's happening in the world like this, not even close, with the level of talent and wisdom and heart and care that that everybody here is bringing. And then all of you that are watching, all of you that are a part of this from around the globe. This summit wouldn't mean anything if you weren't with us. So I'm so delighted that you're with us as well. In my mind, you're just as legendary as everybody else. And I'm so thankful, and as we all are, that you are here with us today. So I want to say—
Hey, Tim, can I give everybody a quick gift?
Oh, of course.
You know, one of the things I told you, I'm starting a media company. I started to pivot. You know, I'm telling people pivot and don't panic. Just pivot. And one of the things that I decided to do, particularly during the lockdown time when we couldn't even barely go to the grocery store, was to look at some of the gifts that I had that I maybe wasn't using to the fullness that I could. And one of the gifts many people know is that I was a singer before I became a speaker. And so I did a song, and it's called "We'll Get Through This." And Les Brown has blown it up globally. He plays it every day. And I just want to give it to everybody who is watching. Watch it sometime today. It will encourage you during these challenging times when we are faced with uncertainty. Les has said he plays it in the morning when he gets up and at night before he goes to bed. And it just is something that I want to just inspire people and bless them to know that we will get through this. So if you'll go to winwithwillie.com, winwithwillie.com. The song is right there. You can listen to the song, share it with friends, because many people are struggling through this time. It's a time of quiet desperation. So they need some encouragement. So just go to winwithwillie.com, listen and watch the song, "We'll Get Through This," and then let it just speak to you. Just let it know that we as a group will get through this if we work together. And so today is going to be, and this weekend is going to be powerful. Tim Shurr, you're just a powerful guy to bring all these legends. How you did it, I do not know. I was telling my son about it last night. I said, I don't know how he did this, but he's a bad man. So God bless y'all. And I'm looking forward to a great day with everybody.
Thank you, Willie. Thank you. That the only way that I've ever been able to do any of this stuff is because of every single person that is here today. You know, I've been studying and been a giant fan of you for those of you that I've known for years and for decades. I've been a giant fan, even if I only knew you through my cassette tapes that I would put in my Walkman, and I would walk around the block for hours just listening to you, you know, trying to get over my anxiety or feel secure or believe in myself. To my new friends that I've just met recently who have been so inspiring and hilarious that, you know, make me laugh right when I need it most, or when Jim pulls out his guitar and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm Willie with his songs, which everybody go to winwithwillie.com and listen to that song. We might even get lucky and have Willie sing it to us during his 3 p.m/6 p.m. slot tonight. Who knows? Maybe Jim Cathcart will get out his guitar and play a little tune for us, because it is beautiful. Yeah. So thank you so much, everybody. We really appreciate this. Thank you. I can't say it enough. I love all of you, and my heart is just full of joy. And so thank you so much for being here today. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up for now. We're going to be back in 10 minutes with Les Brown and Brian Tracy as they talk to us and share how to seize opportunity. So thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you in 10 minutes.
Yay. Thank you.
All right. And so we're still up. We're still recording. I'm just going to leave it going. So just know that we're still live. I'm sure everybody's still tuned in, you know, to see what happens next. But thank you. This was extraordinary. Every one of you had a really amazing message to share. So well done.
Thank you, Tim. See you in a little while.
Thanks, Tim.
The little logistics for everybody listening, because we're doing this as a meeting, you know, Tim has asked everybody, you know, we wanted to turn this as a meeting. So again, that's why we asked you to mute your cameras and mute your microphone. One of the things we'll do later when we start the session is we're going to spotlight whatever the two people that are being interviewed as the main screen, and then unspot. And just one of the things, I know you're probably not new to Zoom by now, but in the upper right-hand corner, you can go to speaker view, which will then show the main person, whoever's speaking, or you can go to gallery view. if you want to see Miss Patricia Fripp, because I always want her on my screen when I'm presenting.
I'd just like to make an observation for the viewers who are attending this. Notice that every one of these legends is a person who has transformed his or her life through a long, long path of hard work, failure, struggles, all the usual difficulty that a person would have to get to the top of their trade or craft. And that's what makes them worthy to share ideas with you. That's what made all the difference. It's not that they graduated with a degree in X and they're regurgitating the wisdom of the years that they learned from textbook. These are people who personally, by hand, long form, in the dark and the cold and the misery, did the work to become the kind of person who would have the future they wanted to have, which is one of my core messages. How would the person I'd like to be do the things I'm about to do? These people have done that. And that's what makes them worth listening to. So don't just listen to their words. Look at their personal example. Think of what kind of person they have become.
I want to follow up on that, Jim, for a second, because what we can create is what we have created here is a chain reaction. I mentioned working with Fripp, meeting Willie and Les, and I'm being mentored even now by Ford Saeks, God bless him, who deal with me the way he does, always kicks me in the butt. But for those who are watching and listening, there's potential for you to be a part of a long list of people who can impact other people's lives and you don't even know. For example, how did I meet Fripp? I met Fripp through Darren LaCroix, who I mentored, and I coached him back in 2001. Darren LaCroix was competing in the Toastmasters World Championship. He came to me and asked for help. But part of his process was he wanted to be a speaker, a better speaker. He wanted to be a comedian, and years earlier, he was told he could never do that. But somebody on this panel, Brian Tracy, who didn't know Darren LaCroix, listened to a cassette that he put together, got him going. He got me involved in his career. I have served him. I now work with him. I collaborate with him. We're traveling across the country now, individually doing NSA meetings and teaching and instructing people who are also rising speakers. This long list, this chain reaction, this snowball effect that begins with a presentation that Brian Tracy made on a cassette, and he had no clue of the aftermath. In the same way, as you join us today and glean and drink in from the centuries of wisdom you're going to receive, and then you bring that back to your life, your career, your business, you have absolutely, positively no idea what the result can be 10, 20, 50 years from now. So please take copious notes, drink in the wisdom. I'm already in awe just being here, and we have so much to gain, but even so much more to give. If we work hard, as Jim says, you never know the impact of what you will have to offer as a result of being here for the next 2 days.